People spend a lot of time in the parks. Friends, relatives, children. It can be for many different purposes. Playing in the park, walking his dog, jogging, and unfortunately all of them involves plastic at some point. Thrown away, thinking it won't matter. But that's where they're wrong. These little leftovers can have way bigger impacts on the global scale. That is why our team came together to come up with a clear plan that could help us tackle the 21st century biggest problem.
Here on the picture you can see a research plan timeline, which is the one that we made based on the contextual research plan that we made.
Our role was to make the field research. The objective was to interview people and empathize with them. We talked with parents, cleaners, taxi drivers, securities, and tried to understand the point of view of the situation.
After all this analysis of the situation, we came out with positive and negative conclusions. For example, a positive conclusion was the recycling bins that we saw in each big park, but negative conclusions as well. For example, the differences in cleanness of each park, meaning there was no clear regulation and clear standard of a district. But another negative aspect that we saw was the lack of knowing the role that each person has to play in the cleanness of the parks, talking about the gardeners and the cleaners, for example, security guys as well. So we came up with a main idea that we still have to develop, which is the education of people.
We do the video ethnography in some Jesus Maria parks. We chose some places and start recording. The objective was to analyze people's behavior in the park. We analyzed park users that were people between 15 and 30 years old. A lot of them had children. Also, we analyzed the behavior of the park workers. We saw that each one of them had very specific works, and then the findings were.
So we had very different findings. First of all, we could see very clean parks with nice flowers and trees, and just next to it, very near, there were parks which were completely dirty with also people using and consuming drugs and alcohol. So there were two opposites we could see in a very small area.
So to wrap up the video, based on everyone's findings and the research that we made and how we discussed with people in parks, we came with the following how might we. So how might we change people's behavior toward waste for park users to increase the cleanness of parks?